year is 1775, and I find myself going back 250 years in time. I'm Tom Shadd, and this is Great Bridge. I've stumbled upon what looks to be a battlefield, and two sides ready to square off, the British and the colonists. Yes, it's before the founding of America, and we're going to find out what's going on here. So I'm going to take a few minutes, and I'm going to talk to the British and try to talk to the colonists and see what is happening here on this field in Great Bridge. It's a very strange thing that has happened, but I was able to work my way back into the British encampment, and I'm here now with Captain Charles Fordyce. He is with the British Army. Could you just give me your exact title, sir?
Yes, Captain Charles Fordyce of His Majesty's 14th Regiment of Foot Grenadiers.
Why are you here today? What is happening here?
I'm about to ask you the same question. Why are you here, sir? We are about to take on rebels who are resisting the king. There's only a few that are there doing this against the king, and having fought against them just about 2 weeks ago, we were defeated them very, very handily. We feel very strongly we can take...
That was in Kempsville, wasn't it?
It was in Kemp's Landing, yes, sir.
Kemp's Landing.
Yes, sir. So, why are we here? We're being ordered to be here, sir. I'm under orders, and I follow those orders.
So is this, I'm just trying to say this the right way, this is not a war. You're here to try to put down a rebellion, aren't you?
It is a rebellion. It's a few who are taking up arms against His Majesty, and they're treasonous. You know this. They are. And they're against the king. I don't know why. And we're here to defend those who are not. You know, there's a large majority who are not against the king. And we've been here for them all along. You know, we've had the Navy here, we've had our Army and our infantry. And quite honestly, I feel that anything that peculiar that they are taking up arms against this king. Peculiar.
They are fellow colonists or fellow Brits. And I talked to a couple of the colonists, and they tell me that it's mostly Parliament that they have issue with.
That's true. That is something to do with the lordship and the governor. He has really, he's propelled us into this moment, I believe. He's propelled us here, not our general. Our general would prefer to send us back where we came from, Scotland and from England also.
Well,
we're about to leave, you know. We're only here for a short while. We've been here 7 years already, and it's time for us to go home, I believe.
So what is your purpose by being here? Are you ready to fight?
We are prepared to. In fact, we've been sent here to engage a rather weak fortification that they've thrown up across the causeway here just nearby. And so we are prepared to take that and to our advantage, as we always do against the French and against the Spanish. We feel very strongly we can take this position, yes.
So are you saying that you're going to gather your fellow soldiers and fire upon the colonists?
If they fire upon us, they must fire upon us, and they will. They have before.
So you're here strictly as in a defensive position, a show of force?
Well, if they're in rebellion and they're rebels, they are tyrannous. They are themselves treasonous, and they shall be dealt with as such. Now, realize grenadiers are advantage. They take advantage of the situation here. We are known to go on the flank, and we're known to take out the enemy, which we've done very handily with the French in the past.
I was going to ask you, sir, if you could describe exactly what your regiment does and what these troops are here to do specifically.
Well, we're the grenadiers are the most elite, hand-picked men in the Army. Of all the men in the Army, each one of these men are hand-picked because of their intellect and for their abilities and for their strength and for their size and abilities, and being also very strong with the king. If they're strong with the king, then they're strong with us. We have to wear the bearskin, sir. A horse of Hanover.
This is your particular headdress you're referring to?
Yes, sir. It's a mitre cap with the, you've noticed what's upon it, GR for George Rex, the king. So with that said, there is an honor here for us over the years. Since 1648, we've been defending the king as grenadiers, and we will continue to do so today. We're not a new regiment. We've been with the king for quite some time.
Are you concerned that the colonists have been amassing troops of their own, the Virginia militia, and other regiments they have on the other side, and they're ready for you?
I've heard that. I've heard that they're massing troops. I have not seen same. Most of them that we ran into or had a conflict with momentarily last 2 weeks ago at Kemp's Landing, most of those were loyalists who were out doing their daily routine of drill. And so they did not realize they're coming against the king's army. And so by coming up against the king's army, they ran right away. They did, and they did so smartly. And then they took the oath the following day to be loyal to the king. Now, there were a few who were captured. Those individuals who were captured were dealt with. I can say no more.
Do you expect the same today, that these men will turn and run after maybe one volley, or say, we've had enough?
Their fortifications are weak, and the men that land them are just as weak. We feel that we can, with our army, our professional army, we may take advantage of this and end this thing in the colony of Virginia and put them back into servitude like they belong.
Servitude?
Yes.
They want to break free from servitude. You even have some slaves, freed slaves fighting with you, and you talk about servitude.
There's also indentured servants also, and not all of those are slaves. So there are whites and there are also blacks, Negroes as well. They're not all the same. They are, in fact, they've come on their own. No one has freed them. We've just given them the opportunity to come, and they have.
You're speaking of Lord Dunmore's proclamation issued a little while ago.
I have one on my desk here. I've read it, and it's martial law we've implemented. Martial law is what we shall enforce, and the king has asked us to move forward with a very strong movement against this.
This is a very strategic point here at Great Bridge. It's the one road that leads from North Carolina to Norfolk. Suppose you don't take this area. What happens then?
Yeah, we have reinforcements coming. We should be fine. The ships are sailing in. We have a navy. And I don't believe the colonists realize the force of the British Empire. They shall see the force of the British Empire. If they so decide to push against us, they shall see.
You sound rather confident.
Absolutely so. We prevailed in Gibraltar, we prevailed in Halifax, and we most certainly prevailed in New York and Boston. So.
Well, Captain Fordyce, I can't say that I wish you luck because I do come from a different time, and I don't want to give away what happens and where I come from, because that is not the issue here.
You're wishing for good fortune for yourself and for your family.
I wish good fortune for everybody.
Very good.
Very good. Thank you, Captain Fordyce. And we just got a basic idea of what's going on here. So it looks like we're on the edge of a possible confrontation here at Great Bridge. So I'm going to come back and try to get the colonist side of the story after this. Welcome back to this very special report, a special edition of History Through the Lens. I'm Tom Shad in a place called Great Bridge, and I find myself back in 1775 in December. So I'm still finding out what's going on here. We just heard from the British a little while ago, and now we're on the colonist side. You can see that the men here don't have the uniforms that the British have, but I do have a man in uniform that I'm going to talk to.
What's happened is, back a little bit earlier, a couple months ago, Lord Dunmore in Williamsburg stole all our gunpowder out of the magazine. No, I say it's our gunpowder because the gunpowder that was there was for the colonists so they could do hunting and stuff and survive. And he got scared because of what happened in Lexington and Concord.
Yes.
And when he saw that, he was afraid the Virginians would uprise, so he took the powder.
Well, I'm just looking at this well-equipped army that you're going to take on from Great Britain, I mean, and you smile, sir, but do you really think you can beat these guys?
You got to remember, the British Army is the best army in the world. But what do we have here? We have the 14th Regiment of Foot. We have a few grenadiers that you may have seen earlier as you were walking around.
I did.
So we have a few grenadiers, and then we have the Dunmore's Ethiopian Regiment. So he's got a few, and he's got a few loyalists that are with him. He really doesn't have a strong army here. And so we've got the 2nd Regiment has closed. Colonel Scott brought them in on the 28th of November.
Okay. You guys were amassing troops here, weren't you?
Yeah, we were starting to move them because what happened was while I was at the Battle of Hampton earlier, I got word from Pendleton. He asked me to move the 2nd Regiment over here, so I had to contact Scott to move the 2nd Regiment north of Williamsburg down the south side all the way over here.
Wow.
And so then I followed him about a week later after I was trying to quell the battle at Hampton, where Dunmore sent in some gunboats and tried to shoot up the wharf area and all that kind of stuff.
Are you prepared to go to war with Great Britain? It sure sounds like you sound rather confident. Do you think this could be over in maybe, a few weeks? Do you guys just have a couple of skirmishes and then you come to your senses? And
no, it's not going to happen that quick.
You don't think so?
No. Great Britain has too many forces here. If you look in, General Washington is holding them up in the New York area right now. A body of them, the most of them. But there's a lot of British forces here. And he's going to have to move a lot of it. What we're doing here is moving the tyrant, Lord Dunmore, out of Virginia. So that what will happen is, this is the Great Bridge. It takes all the produce and everything from North Carolina and southeastern Virginia. The only seaport on the East Coast that covers this area. And this bridge right here is the only thing. And Dunmore wants to take control of this so he can ravage all the supplies here. We're going to stop that, and that way it'll give us, hopefully, the port of Norfolk, which is the largest city in North America right now.
So you're looking at this as a real military operation. I talked to the British, and an officer told me this is a rebellion. He just wants to put down the rebellion, that you're rebelling against the crown.
We're just trying to protect ourselves and General Washington, who's up north, as I've said. And we think that can happen if we can control this area here because of all the supply that comes out of here that's going up to General Washington's army.
So you think you can actually get the British to leave Virginia?
That's our goal. And what's happened now is all the British forces are concentrated in the city. Well, actually, they're not even in the city of Norfolk. They're off the coast of Norfolk aboard ships.
Very strong Navy.
Strong Navy, yes, but they have some artillery on their ships, but all their ships are not guns of war. A lot of them are actually supply ships and stuff because they're trying to haul supplies from here. And the other thing is this area of Norfolk is the stronghold of loyalists in the area. Not probably 70% of the people who live in Norfolk are loyalists. And most of them are from overseas, and most of them are merchants, and most of them are trying to...
Aren't you all in this together then? Aren't you all the same country? Your fellow countrymen are across the way.
We are the same country, but we don't get representation when they make decisions in Great Britain. And all we are asking for is that they allow us to have a say in governing us. And that doesn't happen now.
I'm going to let you get back to your men. This is very interesting what's about to transpire here. I think we might want to stick around and see how this resolves itself because this is a standoff, it looks like now, but something's about to happen.
Something is really about to happen, and the British are going to instigate it. We're just going to defend ourselves.
Okay, the prediction from Colonel Woodford. Thank you so much. With the colonial forces here at Great Bridge, fascinating to come back, find myself into this time here in Great Bridge in 1775 in December. It's a little chilly out here. This is History Through the Lens. I'm Tom Shad. We're back after this. Welcome back. I'm Tom Shad, and this is History Through the Lens, and I find myself back in 1775. I'm here in what looks like it's a battlefield here in Great Bridge. Something is about to happen, and I'm talking to both sides. I talked to the British earlier, I talked to the colonists earlier, and I have another columnist here. His name is Jim Gallagher, and you are with the regiment, right? Can you give me your what your role is?
I'm the adjutant for the 2nd Virginia Regiment. I'm in charge of making sure that the troops are paid, that they're properly assembled and clothed, and that we perform proper muster activity and drill to be ready to fight.
Now, we talked about military issues on both sides here, from the colonist point of view and from the British point of view. Why are you here? I mean, there is a split in the colonies in terms of their loyalties. So you are would you call a patriot for the colonist cause?
Well, I would say I'm a patriot for my rights as a British citizen. That have been consistently denied by the Parliament that we currently have in power. The ruling House is passing laws that make it very difficult to be a successful farmer here in America. We are taxed on so many imports, but yet from our export perspective, we're required that anything we take from the ground, that which we do not use for our own families, must be sent to Britain and sold in Britain, which they then turn into finished products and send us back at double the cost. We're paying for it to go across the ocean 2 times. That in itself is a tax, even though it's not a tax per se. It's part of the Navigation Acts, but we are not allowed to make a profit from our own products.
So then I can call you then, well, I wouldn't call you a loyalist. You could go back to...
Well, loyalist has some specific terms. The loyalists support the parliamentary government and their passage of laws. I am opposed to the laws that Parliament has passed. They are overly burdensome. Further, the laws that Parliament just passed in the spring of 1774, just more than a year ago, to deny the people of Massachusetts their rights as British citizens, to dissolve the government, to quarter troops in their homes, to dissolve the courts and send people who are accused of a crime to Britain or to Halifax, Nova Scotia for trial. Those are all violations of our rights as Americans, and those violations include the Quebec Act, which actually took land from the Virginia colony that was included in our charter.
Okay,
and
so
gave it to Quebec.
So is there any hope then of settling this with Great Britain? You strike me as someone who does not want to fire on fellow Britons.
Well, we'd prefer not to, but that's going to take the king to intervene. And we hope that King George will do that. He has the final veto power over all laws that are passed by Parliament that pertain to the royal colonies. And of course, 12 of our colonies here in North America are royal colonies. The 13th is a proprietary colony, that being Pennsylvania, which is the Penn family. But the rest of us have the hope that King George could exercise his veto power and restore us to the ante-state of, say, 1755, when King George II was ruling us allowing us to pass our own laws and allowing us to pay the taxes that we could bear.
So you have nothing against King George at this point?
No. He's our monarch, and we support him and his family to remain our monarchs. We're not attempting to overthrow the monarchy. We simply want our rights restored. Parliament is the focus of our disaffection, if you will, at the moment.
So what is the mood in the camp right now among your fellow militiamen and other people on the colonial side?
Well, this isn't the first time we've been prepared to fight here in Virginia. The Battle of Hampton occurred in September, at the end of September. Lord Dunmore took his troops to Kemp's Landing and routed our militia there in November. So we're sort of won one and lost one. So we're used to dealing with the British in this fashion, and Dunmore, who I must say has been a good governor. He has done well for us. He did well for us in his war against the Shawnee. Unfortunately, he has sided with the Crown in this moment. We wish that he hadn't. There are other governors, Governor Trumbull of Connecticut, for example, who has taken a different position, and we'd like for Lord Dunmore to be more tolerant and more respectful of our needs and desires as citizens. But he has sided with Parliament in this matter, and I'm afraid that as obstinate as he has been in the past, he will continue to do so now.
You can see an all-out war with Great Britain, couldn't you?
It definitely could happen. It's a horrible thing to think about.
Well, I'm getting a sense of tension in the air here, and it's usually I don't comment on things of this nature, being a newsman from a different century, I must say, but there's a feeling that something's about to happen. So
well, we've been here for a week. There's been active firing every day. The day that we arrived on the 2nd of December, we sent a party across to try to dislodge the British before they could get fully encamped, and there was bloodshed then. So it's not so much waiting, it's the fear that...
It's not if, but when.
Yeah.
On the morning of December 9th, 1775, British troops opened with cannon fire on Colonial militia entrenched at Great Bridge in what is now Chesapeake, Virginia. Outnumbered 2-1, the British advanced, but were met with a withering volley from Patriot forces. Captain Charles Fordyce, who led the attack, was cut down with no less than 14 wounds and died on the battlefield. He was among more than 100 British dead and wounded. Only one Colonial militiaman was hurt in the battle that lasted less than 1 hour. The Patriots later entered Norfolk and eventually drove the royal governor Lord Dunmore from Virginia waters in early August 1776. Virginia was now free of royal colonial governance, and Dunmore never returned.